I'm kind of jumping ahead with the questions because you mentioned singing, and I completely forgot about when I put these questions down. It had been a while since I had seen the 10, and when I watched it recently, I was reminded of the end of the movie when everybody is together, and what so that was just really interesting to me, that because it looked like they couldn't get the entire cast together at the same time, so it looked like there was some green screen action there. Like how did that play out?
Yes, they found out I could sing. Like, oh, great, we're gonna do the singing thing at the end. None of us are really great singers, but do your part, like you do. And so we were in a recording studio, and they said that's gonna be green screen because a lot of it was green. Like all those actors they had like a all-star cast with these cameos. So everyone was in different places. Like, I think they kind of even went where some people were and just kind of did stuff there. So yeah, so that's really how it was. I didn't meet most of those people till Sundance. I met more of them.
Okay.
Awesome, awesome. Now, since we're already talking about the 10, let me ask you this. What were your initial thoughts upon reading the scenes that you would actually be in yourself? And also, how long were you on set for?
Oh man, so the 10. So again, the 10 was literally my first, I guess, big screen movie. And that was within my first or second year of kind of auditioning. And it was the hardest script because I come from, I studied everything, but drama was what I was really focusing on and what I did coming from theater. Didn't consider myself a comedic actor. And I knew this was a dark comedy. So I went to my acting coach at the time and I was like, I'm struggling with this because I was trying to like make it funny. And when you're trying to make it funny, it just doesn't work. And that's the approach I came with it. And he said, Cedric, treat this as a play, a dramatic play that you would do. Do not try to make it funny. Play it completely serious, like just completely serious. Don't laugh at yourself at all. I played it like a straight drama and it was hilarious.
The best part was when what's her name? The woman that plays your mom. Her name always slips me. Yeah, when you guys say, "Why are we so? Why is our skin so dark?" or something along those lines, and she goes, I know," and that look that you give her right after that, like, what the fuck? is and now that's exactly what you're saying. It's that like that was like a dramatic face that you gave her. Like you almost just found out that somebody died, and it plays so it's one of the funniest parts in that whole sequence.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and once I found out, I think I discovered how to approach comedy because I'm the straight man in the comedy. I'm not the ha 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 guy. It's the you have the straight man and you got your your slapstick guy or the funny guy who's making jokes. So once I found that pocket, I had so much fun doing that kind of comedy, and those are the kind of comedies I continued to do when I did do comedy.
So, but you get the script, and this is, I mean, it's wild. I could only imagine what it looks like on the page out of context. Like, how did you explain that to, like, I got my first big gig. Well, what's it about? What are you doing? Like, I play a twin brother whose dad is not there, and there's an actor that comes in that impersonates Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Like,
Yeah, people were just like, "What?" But some of the people followed that whole Reno 911 like group, like David Wain and them. So some of my friends were cult followings of like that whole genre, and so they got it. They were like, "Oh, yeah, this is gonna be great. This is what they do. They do this weird stuff." Meanwhile, I was just like, when I first read that script, like, what's happening? Why do they want to see me for this?
Well, were you familiar with like Wet Hot American Summer or anything like that before going? Oh wow, so you were
Not until after I got it, then I kind of, or when I got the script, started looking up those guys because I didn't know any of that. Yeah.
awesome. Well, you killed it, and that what you said about acting, that fits perfectly with their movies, because it's like everybody in their movies, they don't realize that they're in a comedy. Everything is played so straight, and that makes it so much better. In the scene, you share the screen with the very funny and talented Oliver Platt and Carrie Kenny Silver. What was it like working with them?
Well, I could tell right off that I knew they've been doing it for a long time. They were just pros, and my gosh, she was so funny. I mean, she's just funny when the camera isn't rolling. So the room was just so comfortable, and she just felt like a relative to me and Arlen, the other actor playing my brother. And they were just great. They were just funny. They were there to have a good time. Oliver Platt, it was like, and I guess I would say he does both, but I would say I've seen him in a lot of dramas too. So, um, and I admired both. I admired definitely Oliver Platt. I had seen a lot of his work before. So it was exciting. It was a big party. No one took themselves too seriously. It was just one of the coolest sets I've ever been on to this day.
Amazing. Now, I was going to ask one thing. You were talking about the people that you were working with. One of the people you worked with was actually Arlen Escarpita, who plays your brother, and he's 1 year older than you and came into the 10 with a little more experience behind him. So what was the relationship like between scenes, and did he offer any type of advice to you or give you any instruction on how to make things go?
Yeah, Arlen, again, like you said, he was a pro. He had been doing this longer than me. And, he had been on a TV show for several seasons. And first of all, we're close friends to this day, like one of my best friends. And he just telling me stories on Hollywood, little inside stories and, different movies he was in and what it was like on set. And I just like soaked it all in. And I learned a lot from Arlen too. And we felt like we know we didn't look anything alike, but we were fraternal twins, and many fraternal twins don't look anything alike, but we were like twins. It's like we knew each other. It's like we knew, like we did things on film, like we would look at each other. No one told us to look at each other at that time. We just kind of just felt it and just looked at each other. And
you guys killed the end of that scene right before it turns into a Sunny D commercial when you guys, I'm not even going to try to do the lines because it's insane what you guys got out, but the way it kept building off of each other and the rhythm of that was perfect.
Is it the person who raised you? Is it the person who gave you your DNA? Or maybe it's a guy who hangs out in your house doing an imitation of a famous comedian who is the same race as another famous comedian who is your biological father.
And that was happening in the moment. I don't think we knew our lines, but we didn't really rehearse and block out, okay, then you're going to do like this. We just kind of went, and I can't wait to work with Arlen again. We both can't wait to work with him.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because I was going to ask, like you say, you talked about earlier, like, trying to play a character to where you're more trained and more disciplined. You love drama. And then now they're asking you to be funny. So you want to go back to your acting coach and say, well, how do I do this? But one of the things I found with comedy is that, yeah, there's a ha-ha slapstick comedy, which I think not anybody can do, but most can grasp. But when you do that straight, like James Spader does it a lot when he's doing that voice and he's looking at you, but it's not being funny, but it is so funny. Like when he's the Lizard King on The Office, that's my dude, So let me ask you this. Speaking to you, I think you just spoke to it. Were there any improvised moments? And if so, is there a particular line that you were most proud of that you did?
I think the letter finish, where she's spelling out the word, that was not scripted.
Okay.
Wow.
And I think he was just, feel free if you want to just add something. And he was saying, Arlen was just like, no, stop. I was like, let her finish.
Oh, dude, because she's spelling out a whole sentence and she's right there at the end. She's like,
ARNOLDSCH.
Mom, let her finish.
that was like a killer punchline. That's crazy that was improvised. That's
I think that's how he really felt. Like, no, we've gotten this far. She's going to finish.
So this was a long time ago, so I don't know if how much you remember about that. But was this something that was like you were thinking about it in prior takes, or was it like on your feet right there in that take when he says try something just came out?
Oh, definitely not in prior takes. Yeah, it was.
I just wanted this. I'm trying to gauge what level of genius you are. That's
Then, because if I would have overthought it, then I just said, I wanted it to be organic, and they did too. So
that was that's. I am genuinely impressed to hear that was an improvised moment, because that had all of the build. It seemed like everything was building up to that punchline. You capped it off perfectly.
I agree.
The montage of you guys forming a bond with Oliver Platt, who is playing Mark Jacobson, who's playing Arnold Schwarzenegger. Please take us through what that process was like, because to me, watching it looked like it just looked, because there were so many random moments. It just seemed like especially in the backyard, it felt like you guys just had fun out there for a while, messing around, and they just shot a bunch of stuff and then did magic in post with the best of it.
Well, yeah, they told us to, the whole montage thing was like, hey, yeah, you're going to just run around the backyard, or we're going to play catch with the football. And me, that's one thing. I am not, there's a few sports I play, but football and basketball I'm just not good at it. And sometimes I'm very insecure about it because people assume I can play because I'm athletic, like built and stuff. But Arlen,
I thought it was because you were black. Because they always assume I can play and I can't play either.
I'm like, I actually can't play basketball or football.
Secret's out, kids. Secret's out. I can do a layup.
Not my gift, but Arlen is extraordinary at both. So I told him, and he was like, man, don't worry about it. That's okay. So we kind of practiced a little bit, throwing the ball around, and then they started kind of shooting some of it. And then I got a really good throw in there one time. I was like, oh, good, they got that. That's the one I got in me. That's it. And so then they said, run around, fall in the leaves. So, just kind of told us to do stuff, and they just shot it. So, yeah.
All right. I was going. That's very funny you say that because I had a similar experience. But let me ask you this. So, as we mentioned before, the 10 was your first major film, and so long ago. But since then, you've gained much more acting experience. So let me ask you this. At least with me and him, I know he's been directing for a while, doing film, and I've done film, and I go back and I'm my biggest critic. I'm always going back trying to nitpick and say, what can I do better? So let me ask you this. Do you ever just go back and look where you've come from and from now, and what are some of the things you've learned and that you do differently now for the experience you've learned since the 10?
Yeah, I've learned a lot since then, but one thing in particular, and it was only my second professional job. I did a TV movie before that, and then there was a 10, so it was one of my first jobs, really. But there's something on set, they're lighting, and then they have this thing, and they put it by your face, and they're checking the light with this little object, and I thought, I didn't know what they were doing. I thought they were taking pictures. I was like, oh, so you need me to like, oh, no, we're just checking the light. You don't do anything. You just stand there. Like, it was my first time. I had no idea what they were doing. And like with the reverse, they'll shoot you and then they'll do the reverse when the camera's not on you. And so I really wouldn't know, like something happened. I don't know whether my nose was running or my eye was watering, but the camera wasn't on me. And I was like, oh no, sorry. And they were like, oh no, that doesn't matter. The camera's not on you. Like little things like that, like the technical aspect that I was getting used to, but mostly I just kind of learned just how to relax because I was still, just like a little on edge, but like the 10, they made us very, very comfortable. But still, as I've just gotten more experience, it's just been kind of like, this is my job, we're all here to work together. And so.
What is your favorite memory from the production, and why is it rustling around in the leaves with Oliver Platt?
You said, why is it?
Yeah. I'm making a
right, saying that's the favorite moment. You know what? That is one of my favorite moments, just because that it just felt, we were really in leaves and looking up at the sky and just talking, and they were capturing that. And there was a breeze, and it just really felt like a real moment. You know what I mean? So that's one of my favorite parts shooting it. And out of everybody, I knew Paul Rudd the most. So I was excited to meet him. Really, really excited to meet him. So.
Before we move on from the 10, is there anything else about the production you think the fans may want to know? Because like you say, you've given us some great insight behind the camera, like the light meter thing and all the other aspects of it. But just whether it's technical or practical, is anything else about the film that you would like fans to know?
Well, yeah, they did it rather quickly. You asked me a question earlier. It was, how long did I work on the film? I did 2 days. Literally, it was like a Monday, and then I went to work the next Monday. So I didn't know things were done that quickly. Not that it was the longest, not like it was a big, long, huge, long scene, but I was still surprised at how quickly they did that. And just how all the moving parts of it, I was just so excited to see, oh my gosh, the art department, they do this, and the lighting people, they do this. Oh, there's food people, they take care of
craft service,
all craft service, which became one of my favorite parts of being in the film is craft service and lunch and food and just pretty much anything you want.
Yeah. So
that was great. And then going to Sundance, that was post-production, but that was a huge thing. I had never been, and it was a whirlwind. It was crazy.
It's just one of those cool moments in life, and you go back and look and see all these people were there and you're a part of it. And I'll say this before we move on from it, is when the moment I first found out what craft services was, I was like, I did choose the right career. I'm just sitting around as food. People have trays. You got a spread? There's stuff going on.
Asking you what you want. I'm like, wow. I don't have to pay for it.
Well, you're going to be here for 7 hours more. So yeah, you're going to pay for it.
Why don't you subscribe? It'll last longer.